Hey guys, Justin Bryant here from selfmadesuccess.com. In this video, I'm going to show you how to build a brand online in 2017, how to make yourself look like an expert, how to make your business look professional, how to create a good first impression, how to gain customers' trust, and how to build a big following on social media, on your blog, and your YouTube channel. So, the first thing you want to do is you want to choose the right social media platforms to focus on. So you don't want to just necessarily make an account on every single one of them, because you might stretch yourself a little too thin. You might have a hard time doing a good job and doing something very valuable on these platforms if you're constantly trying to post something new on 12 different platforms. So to understand which ones you should use, you need to figure out where the audience is that you're going after. So you all have a target audience. So let's say you want to do Pinterest. Pinterest tends to have more women. It has more things like jewelry, retail sales. We have cooking, things like that will show up a lot on Pinterest. Home decor, those types of things. But your audience is mostly women. Instagram, another thing, you might have a little more balance between men and women on Instagram, but it's definitely more picture based. They do allow videos as well, but pictures really are everything on Instagram as well as Pinterest. So you want to format images, for instance, long and skinny on Pinterest while doing them a little more square on Instagram. You need to format things correctly. You need to focus on which audience you're going to have. And to do this, I actually found a great chart that you can use. I'll have a link to this page for you, but it talks about who uses each social media platform. So if you look at Facebook, for instance, they're the best overall as far as diversity of your audience. You have men and women pretty equally on here, all different age groups and different classes of education, jobs, and where they live, things like that. Is pretty balanced on Facebook because they have over 1 billion users, and about 3/4 or so of American adults have a Facebook account now. Instagram, a little bit more towards women, but still quite a few men on Instagram. Mostly younger people. You have Pinterest, like I said, mostly women. Over twice as many women are on Pinterest as men. And you can see it's kind of balanced between 18 to 49 years old. LinkedIn, more men, very business to business type of network where you would chat with professionals. Twitter is split right down the middle. Mostly younger people, 18 to 29, which is like millennials. And you can check out the education level. A lot more college graduates, for instance, use LinkedIn than non. Different income levels based on the platforms. So that'll give you a much better idea of which ones you should focus on based on your audience. So focus on just maybe 2 or 3 of these when you're trying to brand yourself, brand your business, and market what you're selling. Number 2, put out valuable content consistently. If you look at any major brand, they post a lot of content. So let's say you look at entrepreneur.com, one of the top business websites. They publish about 40 to 50 new articles per day. YouTube, they put out millions of videos per day. Huffington Post, they put out dozens and dozens of articles per day, much like entrepreneur.com does. So those are 3 major brands, and they publish very consistently. Now, what a valuable piece of content looks like can change from industry to industry. So you might have entertainment, you might have a sports YouTube channel, or maybe you have more like a business to business blog. There's all kinds of different industries, so a valuable post is going to be different between them. Now, if you're looking at the top brands, you can get an idea if you look at the top brands in your industry of what a good piece of content looks like. So let's say you wanted to do marketing. A great example, I think, of someone who really over delivers and does a good job of putting out valuable content is Neil Patel. He's a marketer. He focuses on marketing very consistently. You can check him out at neilpatel.com if you want to read some of his content. But you'll notice that his blog posts are extremely long. And he knows how to use images, use statistics, and do all types of things like that to get as in-depth as possible with his content. That's why he has such a loyal following. So that's just one example of a very valuable blog post that many bloggers would never take the time to write or wouldn't even know how to write. And you also need to look at your industry leaders to get an idea of what they're doing. Number 3, you need to guest post. Maybe look into posting on these other sites that are already popular. So if you know you can write a good piece of content, you need to just get it in front of people if you don't have a big audience yet. So let's say entrepreneur.com, Huffington Post, they have contributors. That's why they can post so many articles. So Business Insider, for instance, if you want to post on Business Insider, there's an article called How to Contribute to Business Insider, and it shows you step by step how to do it. It also talks about some examples of other contributors. They actually have hundreds of them. That's why they can post so many dozens of pieces per day. That's why they've grown so much as a brand. So you can read through this. I'll have a link to this page, but basically you just need to have a published article, a proposed headline, brief bio, links, and all that, and send it to contributors at businessinsider.com, and they'll decide whether to publish it. Another thing you can do is write for Huffington Post, which actually has a platform built specifically for this. Instead of just like emailing one of the editors, you can actually sign up and start publishing on Huffington Post with your own content, and they have an actual platform built for that. So you can do that, and that will build your brand as well. So that's on carefulsense.com. It's called How to Become a Huffington Post Blogger using their new platform. So I'll have a link to that page for you as well to help you do that. And as far as websites that actually pay you for contributing articles, this way not only do you get in front of a bigger audience and build your brand, but you actually get paid $50 or more per post. I have a list here from makealivingwriting.com that I'll show you, and it has all these different sites in different industries that allow you to make a little extra money and contribute as a guest poster as well. So building your brand and making a little extra money is what you can do with those sites. Number 4, you can have a great first impression by using your credibility and having a very professional profile. So your credibility, your first impression in general, is going to make a huge difference. And many marketers focus too much on marketing strategies. They focus too much on traffic and collecting emails without even realizing how they appear in the eyes of their audience. So, for instance, Neil Patel, another example. He does a great job of branding himself in his blog posts on QuickSprout. So you'll notice on the sidebar of his post, he has a picture of himself, and he has a bio talking about how he's a New York Times bestselling author, co-founder of Crazy Egg, Hello Bar. He's helped companies like Amazon, NBC, GM, HP, Viacom. He's a top influencer on the web. Forbes says he's one of the top 10 online marketers, blah, blah, blah. He met President Obama. Anyway, he brands himself very well here, and you instantly trust what he's talking about by seeing how in-depth his articles are and seeing some of his background. So if you have any achievements, any credibility indicators like that, like New York Times bestselling author, or you founded certain websites, or you built a huge YouTube channel, or something like that, you should show people that because it'll help your first impression. Also, Jeff Bullis, another example here. If you look at his profile on Twitter, so you can do this on social media as well. He has his website, he has where he's from, but he has a professional picture of himself. It's very clear what he looks like. A head image is the way you want to go. You notice that Neil Patel did the same thing. I do the same thing. Most top brands with their branding themselves do the same thing. But number one content marketing influencer and social media marketing strategist and speaker, Forbes Top 10 Social Media Influencer, number one global business blog. Those are just a few of his credibility indicators in his profile. And so you look at that, you look at how many followers he has, 521,000, and you look at some of these things that he's done, you can tell that he's definitely somebody who knows what he's talking about when he posts articles about business, marketing, social media, etc. So those are two examples of how you can brand yourself and create a very good first impression. Number 5, you need to show your audience you actually care. So this is something that Gary Vaynerchuk, you may have heard of him. You find him at YouTube here, Gary Vaynerchuk. You've probably heard of him. He does his daily YouTube videos and stuff, talks about business, talks about all kinds of stuff, like even motivates you a little bit, although he doesn't like to be called a motivational speaker. He is a very motivational person, but he's a businessman. And you've probably watched a few of his videos if you're watching mine, because we're sort of in the same industry in some areas. But he's very popular, and he preaches all the time about actually caring about your audience. And this is something that he does himself. So you'll notice that he speaks very passionately. You might see him retweet you or comment or reply to you or something like that. And another thing you can do that I recommend that's really helped me is just responding to comments. So responding to your first few comments on YouTube videos, responding to comments on your blog. For instance, this is one of my blog posts. If I go to the bottom, you'll notice I try to reply to as many comments as possible. And you'll see me reply to these, even the long comments I try to reply to. And Neil Patel does this as well. If you go to pretty much any Neil Patel blog post, then you'll notice that he responds to his commenters as well, whether on QuickSprout or neilpatel.com. And it just shows you that you can build a huge audience. You can build a lot more brand loyalty by doing what Gary Vaynerchuk does or replying to comments, just taking a little time each day to show that you care. Obviously, you're not going to get back to everyone once your brand gets big, but at least the people that took the time to comment in the first day, I think those are the ones you especially want to get to. Or maybe they emailed you back quickly after receiving your newsletter. Those are the kind of people you want to get back to and just prove that you actually see what they're saying and that they actually have a voice. Number 6, over-deliver on everything. So I showed you a Neil Patel article. He over-delivers on all his blog posts. If you look at just about anyone else, I mean, you look at Entrepreneur, they over-deliver by giving out lots of great content. If you look at Huffington Post, they do a lot of journalism and background before they post something. If you look at Gary Vaynerchuk, he's very real with you. He really over delivers and tells you a lot of, no BS, really to the point advice that you can use that he's actually used in his own life. So you want to over deliver as much as possible. You want to give people more than they expect, and that will really accelerate the growth of your brand in many ways. Another example might be the Tim Ferriss podcast. I feel like he really over delivers. So you can use a few examples like that to just kind of see what it's like to give people more than they expect from you. Number 7, consider creating your own niche to dominate. So I mentioned Tim Ferriss. One thing that he did, instead of trying to compete with everyone in the same industry that he wanted to do a business in, which is kind of the online business, things like that, with 4 Hour Work Week, his best-selling book. Instead of doing like start a business online, if you go to the keyword planner and type that in, you'll see the competition's really high. Instead of doing something like that, he decided to invent his own niche. So that's what he teaches in the 4 Hour Work Week. One of the main points, something you'll hear him mention all the time when it comes to branding. And instead of trying to be another person and being a small fish in a big pond in a very big niche, he created his own. And he called it lifestyle design. So you look at this, press get ideas, and eventually this will work. Okay, so low competition, and you'll notice that a lot of the top results related to lifestyle design on here have to do with the 4 Hour Work Week or Tim Ferriss. So you have it right here. You have 4 Hour Work Week right there. If you scroll down a little more, you'll notice that he comes up even more frequently as related. 4 Hour Work Week, the 4 Hour Work Week, Tim Ferriss, Timothy Ferriss, 4 Hour Work Week again. So that just shows you that he basically dominates this category, and it's a category that he just created basically. So instead of just making a business or starting a business or entrepreneurship, he created something called lifestyle design. He got a lot of die-hard fans to promote his brand for him, and then he over-delivered on his book that everybody loved. So that got him his own niche, and that now he dominates it, and that's why he has such a popular brand. So even if you look at it on Google, if you just search lifestyle design, look at some of the things that pop up. How much is Tim Ferriss worth? So, one of the top related questions to this is about Tim Ferriss. There's another one about Tim Ferriss. So he dominates lifestyle design because he basically created it. Now, if you're, say, combining multiple niches and you want to create your own like that, read the 4 Hour Work Week. It's a great book. It'll teach you a lot about how he did that. And you can look at his blog. You can look at his podcast and kind of see how he created it. But he kind of combined health and kind of life hacking, kind of branched off from lifestyle design. Like lifehack.org, Lifehacker, those websites kind of came out of the lifestyle design area, I guess. And Tim Ferriss kind of just took over based on that. So what you can do is create your own niche and then just dominate it. If you want to kind of see more about Tim Ferriss, you can go to tim.blog, where you can see his podcast and how he's kind of grown this niche on there. Number 8, be consistent with social media names, content subjects, publishing days, etc. So you have to be consistent. You want people to know kind of when your content comes out, so it builds anticipation. People will get on Twitter because they know you're usually going to tweet around noon every day, and they love your stuff. Or you post daily, so people look forward to fresh new content all the time. Those types of habits can grow your brand to a whole new level. Let's look at how often I post videos. I've seen more and more growth from my channel, especially this last month or so, even more so than towards the end of last year. If you've watched some of my other YouTube videos, I've showed you how I had very little growth for my channel until I started posting consistently. Started doing maybe 3 or 4 days a week. I grew it to 5 days a week. Now I'm posting videos 7 days a week. I'm seeing more growth than ever. And that's because, consistent content does well as long as it's still valuable. And it's valuable based on comments, based on likes versus dislikes. That's some of the feedback You also have your YouTube analytics here that will tell you how long people tend to watch your videos, and things like that will be a good indicator of how well you're doing. But as an example of doing things consistently, I posted on the 13th, the 12th, the 11th, as you can see here, the 10th, the 9th, 8th, 7th, and 6th. So you're seeing that I post every day. I try to be very consistent about it, and it's actually helped my brand grow a lot more. And it really earns you some respect from other major bloggers, other major YouTube people when they see how hard you're working to grow your brand. And then that opens up other opportunities for you as well. Another thing, you want to be consistent with your profiles. So, for instance, you want to have, for whatever your major brand is, whether it's yourself or your business, you want to have your same profile picture on your different profiles. So you'll see I use the same profile picture. If I decide to change it, I'll use the same one for my business profiles across the board so that it's easy to know which one is me, and it's easy to find me on other sites if you want to follow me somewhere else. And another thing, my username or my handle on Twitter, everyone has one. So mine is at Mr. Justin Bryant on Twitter. On Pinterest, it is Mr. Justin Bryant as well. So if you go to pinterest.com/Mr. Justin Bryant, you'll find my pins on there. So that just gives you an idea of how you can be consistent, not only posting every day or every other day or whatever you're able to do, like say, entrepreneur.com does, posting dozens of posts a day. Huffington Post does the same thing. YouTube, the second biggest site in the world, allows people to post as many times as they want per day, and that's why they have so much content. Gary Vaynerchuk does a video a day, or it might even be 2 videos a day now, but I do a video a day. These types of things really grow your brand and help you get more valuable content to people. So if you got something from this video, if you feel like you learned something that you didn't already know, please like and subscribe so I can create more videos like this for you. If you want to let me know about some other strategies for growing a brand that you've used, or you want to let me know what you thought about the video, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. I'm always looking for feedback to improve these videos. And if you want all these show notes, examples, links, tips, and related content to this video, I'll have it all on one page for you at selfmadesuccess.com. You can find it under the video title, or you can just look in the YouTube video description in the first couple sentences for that link. So other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have